All right, multiple years ago, probably 2003, 4, came up with, I was bequeathed, I was given an acronym underneath the title of SMORES. And for those of you out in the world who are familiar with the concept of solid design principles, I challenge you to really describe who Liskov is to anybody else in the world. And so what I would say is that, if I get back to here, SMORES represents a similar paradigm as solid, far more tangible, tactical, and understandable and rememberable. Who here knows or remembers SMORES? By show of hands. Perfect. Okay, so it's less than half. You're all kind of seeing this for the first time. We'll go through it. SMORES is an acronym that should guide you on everything that you make. And I will justify that if I had more time, but I don't. All right, so first off, it stands for scalable, modular, reusable, extensible, and simple. And the order matters quite a bit. Let's just all say this together just to make me smile. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. Scalable, modular, reusable, extensible, simple. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And on credit where credit's due, Tim Jones was the one who gave me the original acronym SMRS, but I extended the acronym with extensibility. So what does scalable mean? And we'll get to why simple didn't start first. Scalable is the concept of going n plus 1, right? I've got one channel, I want to do 20 channels, or I want to do 50 more channels, right? And so that's that idea of like, we should be evaluating, I'm about to make a thing, can I make it scalable? What does it take to make this thing scalable? There's a lot of tips and tricks, and there's a whole presentation that I show you a lot of examples. But the things that you need to keep in mind are like, well, how many wires is it going to be? This one really came home. There you go. So I was creating a UI, and it had 5 booleans, and somebody said, what about if there's 20 more? And I'm like, well, I guess I'll just make all the wires go across the page, right? And it's like, well, there's probably a better way to do that. It's not that it doesn't work. Also the idea of like, well, what happens when you need to add a new one? What do you need to do? And also even scalability on a front panel. Do you really want to force your end users to have to scroll left and right and down to find things? Go to the presentation. I'll show it at the end of this. You can see all the examples and different ways to do this. And the interesting thing about each one of these parts of the acronym, there's beginner level things that make something scalable, right? You can just put, oh, what? I'm getting, no, keep going. Okay, sure. Oh, good point. There you go. Thanks. All right, so next up on the list is modular, right? How can I make something modular? I love the phrase functional containment because it prevents Play-Doh syndrome. So what is the Play-Doh syndrome? Hopefully this sticks in your head. This is what the people at the Play-Doh Corporation would have you believe children would make with their product. Of course, when you need to pull these things back apart, you can just go, oh, let me pull that red off of this and the blue off of this. But I could finally get a picture because I have a kid that has Play-Doh in it. This is one of my daughters, and so you can see that is what she made with the Play-Doh. She's exceedingly happy about the Play-Doh, but good luck getting the green back apart from the blue. We do that to our code when we mush together functional parts like, hey, let me arrange my visibility of and position of a thing on the front panel the same place that I'm doing like file I/O, right? You just kind of graphically mush things together, but it's better to have things functionally contained and separated. Holy crap, we're running out of time. Next up, reusability, right? So now that you've made something or you've figured out how to make something scalable, or at least you've thought about it, and then you've thought about how to make it functionally contained and modular, you think, how can I make this reusable?
3 minutes.
And now the idea is that it's not always about you giving code to someone else. Sometimes it's the concepts that you're doing. It's the way that's kind of your own design patterns. Those concepts, and if you're not going to share the code, at least you can think about how would I have made this reusable. Some of the things, and one of the really biggest point here is think beyond your immediate reuse. That's one of the best things you can do. I'm going to make something. It's now scalable. It's functionally contained. Now how do I make it reusable? Don't make the defaults work for you, right? I see this all the time. Don't make the defaults work for you. Think beyond your immediate use case or somebody else. Also, another really interesting, terrible graphic, but don't just package up what you have and call it reuse. I've seen so many organizations say like, hey, let's just take the repo and make that our reuse library. Of course, the reuse turns into refuse. Blame that on Brian Powell if you didn't like it. So the extending of the concept of s'mores, scalable, modular, reusable, now extensible, is that you plan for the things that you don't know. The smartphone is probably the most extensible thing on the planet, right? You don't know what it's going to do, right? Steve Jobs didn't plan on all the things. Like somebody can add an app to a cell phone to blow out a candle. They probably didn't think about that at Apple headquarters when they made the iPhone. What is extensibility, though? The ability to extend a system with a lowered, not zero effort, lowered level of effort required to implement the extension. It's something different, not scalability. You're adding new functionality to that. So what do we do about that? So if we're working on like code, there's some really simple things that you can even do for extensibility, right? Add your code here and you put a single frame flat sequence structure, right? You have lowered the level of effort for somebody in the future to change the functionality. And of course, you can go OO and VI server and everything else. But there's a problem with that. I gotcha. No. Is that the acronym has two S's, but the symbol has to reside on the end. So say I. Because if you go to simple first, you stop. But what you do when evaluating what is s'mores compliance, you say, what could I do? What could I do? And each one of those things adds complexity to it. Don't say it. And it's complexity to your program. Extensibility, reusability. I told you don't say it. It throws me off my program. So the twist is get creative. Think about what you can do, right? Think about it and then determine what should I do because of who's going to own it on the flip side of it. Is it you? Or is it somebody just getting started in LabVIEW? Right? Don't curse them because of what you've done. Now, oh yeah, never put the S first. You'll end up with a different S that starts with SH right there.